So,
So,
we just watched
Spooky.
some episodes of Flip Flappers.
we did.
I am. My brain is mush.
I had a good
Yeah.
time.
As it should be.
I had a good time, but my brain is mush.
I'm glad you both had a good time.
I had a good time, and my brain is not mush.
Let's get this out of the way. Spooky fucking loves this anime.
Yes.
And it's got
Yes.
lesbians in it.
It's lesbians, yeah. There's
love it.
hold on, shush. There's lesbians, there's magical girls, there's cute outfits and pretty colors and good effects. And also there's one character that has her butt out. Spooky fucking loves this anime.
So
I feel like you should mention that the magical girls are the lesbians.
Yes.
That's quite important.
We'll actually dive into some of my thoughts about it, too. I do love it, though, you're right, I do love it. Random question that we didn't ask last time.
Shocking, by the way.
Yeah, shocking, right? That I love it, shocking. Who do you think my favorite character was? Because I'm curious.
Okay, I am legitimately, I think it might be...
I think it's actually...
I know it's not the twins. I know you don't like the twins that much. So I think it's either... Oh man, it's actually a really hard one.
Is it Shinji?
I think Kokona.
So
I think
you think Kokona and Deer thinks Yayaka?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's Yayaka. Good job,
Hey!
Deer.
Damn.
Kokona,
it was a toss-up between the two.
was my original favorite the first time I watched it, up until we got to certain episodes, and then I was like, no, it's Yayaka 100%.
Okay.
It's also because
Coconut is my second favorite.
Coconut is also just spooky.
Wow.
She's just spooky.
Yeah, that's true.
that's pretty
Kokomo
accurate.
is just spooky.
Yes. Yep, I'm Kokomo.
Also, prefacing, we're gonna fuck up these names a lot, and you're not
Yes.
gonna know who's who.
Is it racist? Kinda.
We're literally just naming them either
Listen,
what they've been named or
of the-
things from other animes.
One of the characters is literally called Salt. Okay, I'm not gonna get mad at you if you don't remember names.
Okay, yeah, that the minute it was like Dr. Salt, it was like, okay, yeah, no, I have no respect
Salt.
for any of these fucking names anymore.
I mean, it could have been worse, but also it was literally Coco and parsnip? No, paprika. And, you know, why did I say parsnip?
I don't know, but
I
Parsnip
don't know,
also
maybe you
works.
just really want to parsnip.
Maybe.
So, what did you guys think?
Okay, so
I mean,
we watched episodes 3, 5, and 9,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Okay.
We had a choice.
Do you want to explain the first one then, dear?
Me than you than me? Sure.
Sure.
So, we're walking in the sand, and someone's really sweaty and very anime, and there's a ship.
Oh, yeah.
There's a ship out at the ocean of sand, but it's also an ocean, and there's some plants there, but none of them are full of water or food, and so the person is sad. And so the person collapses into the sand, and then a baby walks up. And then it was the anime intro. And I'm not 100% sure it isn't Star Wars. I'm gonna be real.
Do you have any noteworthy moments from the intro? Because I have one specifically.
Is it the Ku Klux Klan?
Yeah, because my notes just go What is this Twilight Zone ass intro? Because it has the radio, the vocal thing, and it's like, okay, anime intro, whatever. And then there's like 2 frames of like guys that straight up either are in the clan or their group is heavily inspired by the clan, and it's like.
Yes.
There's just Klansmen.
Yes.
Okay, there's Klansmen in the show. What the fuck?
There's a group that's in a pointed hood outfit, and we're just like, that's just the clan. Like, that's
The
just
master
them.
wears a white one, too. It's
What?
very...
Not
the lead one is white.
Their apparent leader, by the looks of it, is in a white robe.
Mm-hmm. And also,
So it's like,
the other leaders were in red robes, can I point out?
Red and blue. There
Yes.
was the blue ones.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
This is a fucking trip.
It was.
Of a show.
It was.
Anyway, keep going.
So we cut back to the girl who fainted, and there's some cat people, and they've chained her up and taken her flip-flops, and one cat person goes, she's a really rare thing, so you're scary, but don't be scary. And then she gives her water and takes her for a walk, even though she's still chained up. And they talk about how people take turns doing crops, and she thanks them for helping her, and then it turns into Mad Max very quickly.
Yes. Whenever you guys were explaining, like, at the beginning, like, you were like, this is Twilight Zone, this is Star Wars, this is that, I was just like, I can't wait till we get to the actual reference. Mm-hmm. Like, I can't wait till it just becomes Mad Max.
Yeah, it was literally
just, Mad Max meets gay porn.
Yes, gay porn Mad Max, yes.
I choked on my water,
with Dear
water
said Skeletor splashed in.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which, yeah.
I literally, when you said Mad Max meets gay porn, I, like, started choking, like, so good. Anyway.
So, redheaded girl is looking for a friend by the name Kokona, and I just started calling her Coco after a while. The cat that's taking care of her is like, I saw a falling star once, and it split into two, and she's like, oh, can you tell me where that was? That is my friend. And they're like, no, but we have sweet potatoes that you can eat, but then they're suddenly attacked by the Mad Max ship, and they crush all their crops, and they want to steal their stuff, and they pour water into their pants.
Yep.
And then they shoot a crossbow at one of the elders, and then Redhead comes up and just, like, catches the arrow and snaps it in half, and I'm like, fuck you. And her name is Paprika, but she's just Paprika. And there's also apparently a small anime figure who commands all the Mad Max characters. And there's also a really, really big gay Mad Max man with a hook and an extremely defined butt.
Very.
It was, like, weirdly extremely defined. So he starts to fight Paprika, and she just, like, flicks the weapon away from him, and she's like, go fuck away. Go fuck away. And they're like, oh my god, she's a freak. And then
Lord Humongous, that's who I thought he was.
Yes. And
sorry, I spent forever trying to remember who he reminded me of with it.
And then for a second, we cut back to a bar scene, and there's someone, like, taking a drink while the fight's going on, and it doesn't really make much sense, but I think I know who it is now. And then the little master comes down, and apparently it's Coconut, but with a mask. And I was just like, oh, Coconut's just a bitch. And then there's some guitar music, and they're having a fight. So it's Coconut, but it's also not Coconut, and Paprika goes to fight her, and there's an anime fight. And
Do you want to see my notes?
Yes, sure. Let's go.
Because my notes for the anime fight are just in all caps. This is all in caps. Kokona, fighting, Super Saiyan, she stinks, bonk, Spooky is free.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
I wrote a little bit more. I said it's the Dance of Miracles, apparently, that they're gonna watch. And then both of them turn Super Saiyan, and anime fights some more. But then one of them smells like something, so Pappy headbutts the other one, and it just kind of works, even though she has a helmet on. And then the helmet snaps in two, making her less crazy, and she's crying, and it's just spooky inside, honestly.
Yeah.
And
yeah, it really is. Kokona really is just spooky in this episode.
Because in the first episode, she even wears glasses. It's perfect.
Mm-hmm. And then the Mad Max porn men are very excited about how cute Corona is. And and then a little cat rolls up to the little girl from earlier, and it's actually a girl. And apparently she found Coconut in a temple that was an illusion, and they have a robot.
It's a sex temple.
We'll get to that. And there's a robot named Boo-chan, and then they walk a little bit, and there's just straight up a bloodborne BDSM orgy going on. And Boo-chan legitimately wants some pussy, but then gets killed.
Boo-chan's looking for that poontang.
Yes. And so they put a helmet on Coconut, and the mask amplifies the feelings that Coconut already has, which is that she really wanted to punch Paprika. And then an arrow hits the demon girl from the pornman, and she's just like, what the fuck? And, like, takes it out. And then her stockings become Bayonetta and all kill the pornman. And then the cat people drag away Paprika, and Coconut is apparently empty inside, and Paprika is hungry, so she's also empty inside, technically. And so she goes to take her shard, and I'm gonna be real, I first typoed that, and it said shart, which... which...
You need to... Yeah, mention where it is.
Yeah, we're getting to that. Which, the shard is up her pants. On her inner thigh, up by her underwear. It is just like, okay.
Well, the worst part about that is that the scene she's like, okay, well, it's time to take your shard. And then the camera just cuts immediately to her underwear. Mm-hmm. And, like, you see the evil girl's hand go up her thigh. And it's like, no! No! Bad touch.
Okay. So Paprika's awake now because she ate a sweet potato and it made her go to full power. So then she feeds Coco part of the sweet potato, which makes them both go Super Saiyan, and not even Ghost Girl's stockings can stop them. And then there's an anime girl transformation, and they turn into each other, but Butterfly Team Rocket arms.
Cat palette swaps. They palette swap.
Yeah. But they also have butterfly wings, and they're Team Rocket now. So, Shadow Girl at one point looks. I noticed it. I don't think Gam did. They're fighting Shadow Girl, and they both come in from one goes from the right side and one comes from the left side to punch her and squish her or whatever. And it cuts to Shadow Girl, and her eyeballs are both looking different directions.
Oh yeah.
Okay. For that scene, I just wrote she's getting off to all this because she looked really happy.
It was definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, she's definitely into
she
BDSM.
Was getting off to it.
Shit in general.
So they obviously have beaten her at this point, but then she turns into basically what looked like an Oracle of Ages boss that punches them into outer space. We're getting there. And the planet is a meatball.
No, I hate how right you are. I was like, what are you talking about? She looks nothing like... Oh, God, actually, no, you're fucking right.
And so the planet is a meatball, by the way.
It's Meatwad. Planet Meatwad.
Yes. So then a young porn man sees a shooting star off in a village. He's like, Mommy, look! And then they land... And then they turn their weapons instead into a big gun that goes pew to fight back against the Oracle of Age boss's laser butthole. Yep. And then everyone's really happy. And then Paprika looks at Coco and basically I just wrote really 20 times. She really, 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 etc., really likes her.
Okay,
but Gam. Then Mega Man shows up and A2 as well. And then there's also a blonde version of them that shows up that we later named Shinji. And
I initially called them Shinji, and then I was like, wait, no. You were like, no, they look more like that other one from Evangelion. I was like, I fucking know Evangelion.
Well, okay, so I think we messed up who's who for us. Because Mega Man for me was one of the twins. And then And then the other twin was A2. And I was like, actually, that kind of looks like the other guy, I forget his name again, from Evangelion.
I think my problem is, I should have just said Evangelion guy. Because, the only Evangelion guy I know is Shinji. So I was like, that's the guy from Evangelion.
Yeah.
So Mega Man, who you call Mega Man, I called Shinji. Mm-hmm. A2, we all agreed was A2.
Yeah.
And then the last one, I was like, oh, that's Mega Man. Because, Yayaka has, this heads-up Sentai-type
So I agreed,
that makes it look like Mega Man.
Because the male twin had, a Buster gun-looking thing, that's why I thought you were calling him Mega Man. So.
Oh, no. I went by, the helmet.
I thought the same thing Deer did.
Okay. So, back to the episode, because we're not done yet.
Moral of the story, Gam doesn't fucking know anime.
It's okay.
That's fine.
So the monster melts away, and they take a gem from it, because they landed the last hit, and they're absolute cheaters. And I went, oh, they're the rival bad guys. Got it. And they go, hey, how did you transform? Actually, never mind. Bye. And... they talk about how her hole was really high up. So that's a thing. So they make a hole in the ground and jump into it, but then Paprika shoves her head into it, which does a black hole effect thing that stretches her neck the entire way with her hand, and she like pops out the other side, and she sees the clan there, and they're hanging out. And then she's like pulled back in, and then we cut to the clan again, and they're in a building shaped like a butt plug, where the clan man general major takes the gym thingy and makes a donation to the butt plug, and then one of the girls suddenly wakes up because it was just a dream, right? And yells into the she yells into the darkness, calling out for Salt. And this is just Blue's Clues. This is Mr. Salt and Mrs. Pepper, and they had a baby named Paprika, and that's actually a thing that happened in Blue's Clues, and I fucking hate this. And then we had an anime outro, and then we learned that Yakuga was Coco's friend from way back when, but then they're late and also live in the real world, and then Coco's grandmother is worried about her, and she got a call from cram school, and she's just like, I hope you're okay. And then the episode ended. Oh, there's so much.
My mind was melted by the end of this one, and then it was like, okay, no, the next episode it was like, okay, I think I've got this. And then the third one I was just like, what? Anyway, Spooky, do you have anything interesting to say about this episode?
I will say this was probably one of the weirder episodes in the anime, which is one of the main.
You don't say.
It's a really fun episode, which is why I wanted to show it to you guys. There are some things I want to bring up, but I think I'm gonna wait until after, whenever I'm explaining a little bit more about the series. So.
Yeah.
But one thing I will say really quick, it's really funny that you guys kept, like, making offhanded Evangelion references, because the show is very inspired by Evangelion. Actually.
I was gonna say, like, the minute we got to the next episode, I was like, is this, like, like the early episodes of this show, kind of like, every episode is, like, a new kind of world or whatever that they go to, and it's, like, kind of a reference to, if not a specific property, but, like, a conglomeration of different things. Like, this one was, like, kind of like a Mad Max meets, like, I don't know what you call it, like anime Dragon Ball type thing.
Yeah, there are references throughout, and that one definitely had Sailor Moon reference, Mad Max reference, Dragon Ball reference, so on and so forth.
Dragon D's nuts.
But the whole series is very inspired by, like, Evangelion. They're actually very similar to each other. So it's really funny that you guys just, without seeing those episodes specifically, were like, yeah, Evangelion. Like, Salt is, like, designed to look like Gendo. So it's just really fucking funny that you guys kept accidentally making references.
Especially since I've never seen Evangelion.
Yeah, exactly. That's why it was so funny. As soon as Gab was like, yeah, he looks like the guy from Evangelion, I was like, holy fuck.
Oh, God. So. Anyway, okay, so... fucking hell. The next episode...
This one wasn't as crazy, so...
The next one I like quite a lot, because it's kind of really interesting. The thing that kind of annoyed me a bit was that they, like, the minute the premise got interesting, they were like, we can't do this anymore. We have an anime show we have an anime, like, plot to deal with. So I was like, oh, but this is just getting interesting. So anyway, we open on episode 5, and they're in Neverland, I guess, because, like, we open up on the, like, Big Ben clock tower type thing, but it's red, and it's dark, and there's nothing around. We don't see anything. And then we cut back to, like, what I guess is the real world, quote-unquote. And it's, like, this guy who I thought was Dr. Salt at first. But then Speaker was like, no, Dr. Salt's the other guy. This guy is, I don't know his name. He's some sort of pink-haired dude. And I was like, okay, I'm going to call him Don't Like This Guy Pink-Hair now. Because I guess we're not going to really talk about him that much.
Yeah.
And then they were like, okay, girls, you gotta get in your boxes, and we'll send you to Magic Land. So they like sit in these weird boxes in this kind of prison cell looking room, and then they're like, they have that touching moment of, Paprika's sitting above Korone, and she like lowers her hand underneath, and they hold hands, and it's really cute. And then like light goes, and then suddenly it's just Silent Hill. They're in a school. It's dark. It's silent. It's a spooky Silent Hill. And then the camera cuts behind them, and oh shit, it's Yamaka. It's the guy from Evangelion. They're in here too, wearing a school uniform. What the fuck's going on? And then we get that sweet intro again, and it's like, whoa, this is feast for the eyes.
Kaworu, by the way.
Kaworu? No, Evangelion guy. Then Spooky said this is the horror episode, and I was like, yeah, I guess that. Like, it's like, oh no, they got lightning. Okay. Then we cut to them exploring the school, and it's like there's skeletons. Like they cut to like science labs in the school, and there's like the statues and skeletons and body diagrams. Ooh, spooky. And then Paprika sneaks up on Kokomo and scares the shit out of her. And they have a cute little moment where it's like, don't do that to me, that was scary. And then they open up another door, and there's this group of schoolgirls with no faces. And it's like, oh, okay, they got no faces. And then they all look up, it's like, oh, they have faces, they're just squiggly black hole faces. And they say good day in like a... The only way I could really describe it is if like their audio was passed through a didgeridoo.
Yes.
Is what it kind of sounds like. And I kind of like that.
Mm-hmm.
But then they're like, oh shit, we gotta run. They're gonna come after us and kill us because, I don't know, we're prejudiced. So they start running and they're like, oh shit, a staircase. And then they run up the staircase, but then instead of the floor that separates two staircases, there's nothing there.
Mm-hmm.
And I realize this doesn't come back at all or mean anything. It's just there, and it's like, oh no, we can't. And then they just jump over the banister instead, and it's like, okay, that was cool. And then they're on the roof, and it's like, oh sweet, we made it to the roof with the rain and everything. It's raining, and then Paprika falls to the ground, and there's blood all over her. Yep. And Kokomo's like, what? Why? It's just rain. And then the rain turns to blood, and she falls down and falls unconscious too.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh shit, what the hell is going on here? And then they wake up, and they're having a bath, a nice warm bath. Kokomo wakes up, and she's like, oh shit, what's going on? Hey, Paprika, what are we doing here? And Paprika's like, fuck off, I'm having a nice warm bath, I'm gonna sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And then Korone notices that the faceless girls are watching them. They're like, oh no, they're gonna kill us. But then they come and bring them towels and like get them dressed in school uniforms, and they just want to be nice to them. They feed them some food, and then they like do some embroidery. But then, ouch, Kokomo pricks her finger on accident.
Oh no.
And then Paprika takes her finger and goes, and puts her mouth around her finger to suck out the blood, because she's a vampire, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point I was like, oh, okay, are the group gonna try and steal their faces or something? Or is like, they're gonna be like slowly more and more become like the faceless girls? Is that what this... Okay, I'm liking this. I'm liking where this is going. And then like it cuts to Evangelion guy being like all moody and like seeing them go through this. It's like, okay, so something clearly is going on.
Mm-hmm.
And so the two girls are back in a room now. They're in like a dormitory room, and there's this creepy ass fucking doll in there, and Corona doesn't like it, so she turns the doll away, and it's like, ew, no, don't like this. And then they go to sleep, and then they wake up again, and they're like, it's nice in the morning. The door opens, and it's the faceless girls, and they're like, good day, and they're like, oh, hello. And so then they go out, and they do some like reading, then they do some like tea drinking, and they eat some biscuits, and then they do embroidery, and then Kokone accidentally pricks herself, and then Paprika then sucks on a finger.
Ooh.
And then they go to bed, but just before they go to bed, Kokone notices that there's a creepy ass doll in the room, so she turns it away. Then they go to sleep, and then they wake up, and then, oh, nice morning. And then the door opens, and it's the faceless girls, and they're like, good day, and they're like, okay, what are we doing today? And then they go out, and then they do some reading, and then they do some tea drinking, and they eat some biscuits, and they do embroidery, and then Corona Beer pricks her finger.
Hey.
And then Paprika's like, oh no!
Hey, Gam.
And sucks her finger. Yes, dear?
This sounds like it's repeating.
Yeah, in my notes,
interesting.
I've just written live, die, repeat, where's Tom Cruise?
Alright.
Remember that movie? That kind of okay movie?
Mm-hmm.
So, this keeps going on until Yayaka comes in and wakes up Coco in the middle of the night and is like, hey, how have you not fucking noticed you're in a time loop? And then Coco's like, what? And then they talk about something about stones and pure illusion and worlds, and I'm like, okay, I think I'm understanding. Like, is pure illusion, like, this, like... I think the analogy I went for was, like, the internet, kind of, but not really. It's, like, separated worlds based around, like, ideas or something, where they're guarding these stones or something. And, like, Evangelion guy and the twins get to this place through a butthole in the Klansman's headquarters, and the two schoolgirls that we follow get to this world through boxes in a prison cell. It's like it's like an internet type thing. I don't fucking know. And then we get like backstory on like, okay, we gotta collect the Animorphs, which is what they call the stones. They're like, we need them. You got shards that give power and shit, and it's like, okay, whatever. And then Coco's afraid of failure, of course. And then the giggling shadow girls are there, and it's, oh no! Ooh, spooky!
Oh.
And then Coco's like, okay, we gotta break out of this loop. We gotta go find the stone to get out of here, accomplish our mission. And then they go to leave, but then boo! The robot! Remember that robot? I forgot to mention the robot. The robot was also with the robot also joined in on the time loop, but now, oh no, robot's face is gone, and it's got like a squiggly black hole face. Oh no!
It says
so they tie up the robot and then they go looking.
Yeah.
Yeah, what were you saying,
I
Spooky?
just said the robot says good day.
Oh, it does. Oh yeah, it says good day like all the other giggling girls.
This is
So
so
then
scary.
they're like, okay, I magically know what we need to look for now. They're like, here's room 1, room 2, room 3, room 4, and it's like, room 12 is important. It's like, what? How do you know that? It's like, because the number 12 is missing from my watch. It's like, I mean, yeah, but how do you get to that leap of logic? So then they like, wait, this is where room 12 should be, but there's nothing here. And then they like go to open it, they can't find it. Somehow Paprika hits a switch or something, but, oh no, the spooky girls, I have noticed them, and the chimes hitting 11 or the midnight, I forgot which it was, and then the girls rush up to them and they crowd around them, and then the girls wake up again. And it's a brand new day, and they go to try it again. They skip the day, they go at night time. They're gonna go, okay, we have more time now, we know what we're looking for. They go through, and it's like, oh shit, we gotta run, and then they see A2 and Mega Man and fucking, wait, what do we call the other one again?
A2, Mega Man, and...
Evangelion guy.
Evangelion.
No, Evangelion guy is who... Oh, yeah, that's why I called him Evangelion guy. Sorry. But no, wait, Evangelion guy is... Oh, God, I'm so sorry. Every time I've said Evangelion guy the past 5 minutes, I meant Mega Man.
Oh, gotcha.
Whoops. Ignore
He
me.
meant Yayaka.
Anyway, they're at a clock tower now. Yeah, I meant Yayaka, who's Mega Man. So now they're at the clock tower. And they're like, okay, we gotta transform to get to the top of Clock Tower, because the Clock Tower's got the secret in it. It's got the stone, the Philosopher's Stone. So they're like, oh shit, transform. But only one of them transforms. The other one can't transform because she's a little bitch. And so as they're trying to climb the Clock Tower and race the other 3, Redness, whatever, blobby something, reaches out to grab them all. And Yayaka's talking about resolve and being a fucking... weird bitch, like really like weird tsundere bitch towards Coco, and Coco's like, I'm just trying to fucking survive here, and Yayaka's like, the twins, the other 2 keep going up the clock tower, and Coco's like, why do you still follow them? They didn't give a shit about you. And Yayaka's like, well, it's because I have the resolve to live. You don't understand. And then we see Paprika fly down, screaming Corona's name, to try and chase after her, to like save her, and then they go flying back up, and then, they didn't make it all the way. But then Coco transforms, and they make it all the way up. The bell rings, and then the Animorph crystal falls, and then, the twins or someone catches it. This is where I lost steam in the episode, because, like, the thing that captivated me the most, like, didn't matter. It's like, oh, okay, so the horror thing's just gone? Okay. So it's like, all I've written in my notes is, stop asking about Resolve. I'm tired of this. Because, like, Yayaka says something about, like, if you had better Resolve, you'd be able to get the crystal, something. I'm able to get these, I'm stronger, because I have the stronger Resolve. And the twins are just like, we want to go home, and Paprika's just like, I'm Paprika. And then it's the end of the episode.
That's a great
I mean, am I wrong about Paprika, though?
No, that's the perfect way to describe Paprika. It's just, I'm Paprika!
It really is. I'm Paprika!
Is there anything you wanted to add to that, dear?
Let me go through my notes real quick, because I take better notes than the game does. There was the whole part where they were trying to figure out their personal object or whatever to transform with, where they were looking at shells. That was a thing.
Oh, yeah. The entire time you were like, Coco can't transform because her precious thing is, Paprika. And so she has to be holding Paprika, but it turns out her, like, precious thing was just a twig or something?
No.
It was a conductor's stick, but I was just like, that's dumb.
Oh, it was a conductor's baton?
So,
Yep.
okay. The thing with that is, at the beginning, and I think both of you might have missed this, I'm not sure. At the beginning, whenever they're, like, trying to figure, like, Paprika's like, yeah, I have this whole bag of things that are special items to me, and, like, all of it's, like, essentially junk. And you're supposed to pick, like, the item that means the most to you. And Coconuts like, I have my pet rabbit, and they're like, well, you can't fucking use that, obviously.
Yeah.
Can I just really quickly note that her pet rabbit kind of looks like... I was, like, trying to remember what it kind of reminded me of. It reminds me... I know you've probably not played Ratchet Gladiator or Ratchet Deadlocked, whatever it's called in the US. But there's a little thing in it called Slugger. Oh, God,
it does.
And I've just posted a picture of it, and it looks exactly fucking like it.
It's perfect.
Yeah, it's a little pet in that. It's fucking uncanny to me.
But yeah, so Paprika is basically like, I can't choose between this bracelet or this really smooth stick that I think is just a really smooth stick that just kind of looks like a conductor's baton. So that's what they call it.
A conductor's baton, yeah.
Yeah, they call it that, but it looks like a fucking stick. Anyway, so whenever Coconuts like, well, this is the only thing valuable, like, this is my most prized treasure, is my pet rabbit, and they're like, well, you can't use that. Paprika is just like, here, take this stick then, since I like it a lot.
Okay, so dear, what, like, I kind of was thinking it, but I was like, I don't think, like, it doesn't seem to be let that way, but I guess you were kind of right in that sense that it was like Paprika is...
Yeah. But the thing with that
is an interesting way
is they can only transform when their hearts are feeling the same way. So it's not about the object that they're holding, it's about when you have your prized possession with you, you get very happy because you love that thing.
It's not about the deck, it's about the heart of the cards.
Yes, it's about the heart of the cards. But yeah, that's what it is. They can only get to pure illusion when they're, like, on the same wavelength type thing. And it's, like, the same thing when they're transforming. Like, they need to be, like, feeling the same way.
So I would mention also, I believe, I don't know if Game fully mentioned this because I zoned out for the last few seconds, that Shinji saves them.
Oh, Yayaka, wait. Yeah, Yayaka saves them, yeah. I got confused as to who Shinji was again.
So she saves them, and then she's like, alright, now give me the gem, because I said so, and Coco's like, no. They're like, do you have the resolve? And then it ends.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. That's where I, like, tuned out. Like, the minute, like, the bell tower went away, I was like, I'm tuned out. I'm gone.
So, this episode's actually really cool.
It is.
So, it's...
Until it wasn't.
The creator of the show, I don't know. I really like the show because he basically was just like, here's all these things that I like and all these things I find interesting, all these things that are, like, interesting to me in concept and whatever, and went with it. And with episode 5 specifically, it's playing on all of the anime where they set up characters as though they're almost in a relationship, specifically two girls, where the end game of the show is that they don't get into a relationship, and that happens all the time in anime, and especially before. And a lot of the times it takes place, like, in a all-girls school, where, like, they do shit like embroidery, and all of the shit you see them do. And, he looked at that and was like, what if we made this horror? Because the whole thing is part of the series is it's Kokona's, like, coming out story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Reading that specifically about, like, why they made that specifically part of the horror, it's like, no, that makes it, making it then, like, okay, no, it is 100% about Kokona's, like, coming out, like, breaking out of society's chains and becoming who she wants to be.
So,
a lebsian.
They have, that's, like, the reason why they, like, end up breaking out of it, and why it's, like, seen, like, I don't know, such a good thing, is it's, like, Kokona's breaking out of that, stereotype of, like, oh, yeah, we're gonna, like, blush around each other and cuddle at night, and you're gonna suck on my fucking finger, but we're not dating, you know, and it's her breaking out of those, stereotypes, which is really cool. I really liked that episode. I really liked when I read about that, because I was like, oh, that's really neat. And I love the idea of making it into horror. I don't know. I enjoy it quite a bit.
No, because I feel like it only really works with horror, because it's like, the horror of conformity, the repetitiveness of this type of conformity is horror to someone who does not fit in that system, does not fit into that style of life that they want you to go for. It is pure horror, because it's like, it is existentially agony for you.
Yes.
Yeah. See, I really enjoy that episode. I am glad in the end that you guys chose that one over 6, because I think I can sum up 6 pretty well. But let's.
All right, go for it.
6
No, go for it.
I'll be honest.
Right now.
By the thumbnail of 6, it looked like some real, like, flashy love anime type shit.
Not
really.
Spooky.
Spooky. Let's go. Explain 6.
Oh, I'm explaining 6 right. Okay. I was gonna wait till after 9, but that's fine. I can explain 6. Essentially, in episode 6, there's this character that kind of is recurring. You see her from time to time. Kokona talks to her. She is in the art club, and Kokona talks to her a lot. And episode 6 is kind of about her. It starts with Kokona talking to her, and she makes some offhanded comment. She has fingernail polish. She paints. And Kokona's like, oh, you can use fingernail polish to, like, paint on canvas too? And she's like, yeah. And she's like, well, something about painting her nails. And she's like, no, I can't paint my nails. And it's just kind of offhanded. You don't really get it. Then they go to Pure Illusion. And it's just Kokona in Pure Illusion, and she's younger. And she's talking to this lady that she keeps referring to as, like, her aunt or something, and they're, like, really close, and they, essentially, Kokona and Paprika end up, like, switching places as being this kid, and their name isn't Kokona or Paprika while they're the kid. Their name is Iro. And,
I was gonna ask if their name was Toucan Sam.
Yeah, Toucan Sam. So whenever Kokona's Iro, she's, like, with the auntie having a great time, and Paprika is just in a room alone, being sad, and they end up finding out, essentially, they're, like, reliving Iro's past, and Iro is the art club girl. And it's, like, reliving her traumas. And her traumas are, the aunt got dementia, And they used to paint their nails together and stuff, and the aunt made her promise, hey, if I ever forget who you are, can you please tell me who you are? Remind me of that. So, essentially, whenever the aunt asks her, what's your name? Sorry, I don't remember you. Iro, as a little girl, freaked out. It scared her. She ran away, and she's always felt guilt about that. So while they're in pure illusion, they go to the aunt, and they say who they are, and they resolve those issues. And the next time they see Iro at school, after they come out of pure illusion, she has her nails painted, implying that she feels like she can do that again. Which shows...
She's resolved her trauma.
Yes. Which shows...
If only that's how trauma
Yeah,
works.
well, it shows that pure illusion is actually them going into people's subconsciouses.
So, wait.
Yes.
So this is Psychonauts?
Sure.
Have you played Psychonauts?
No, I have not. That...
Okay, so Psychonauts is essentially... Okay, I'm gonna boil down... I'm not gonna spoil it for anyone, I'll give you the basic premise. Because it's a really good game, you should play it. Government has basically gathered a whole heap of children that have psychic abilities and taken them to a camp where they're basically trained to become psychic super soldiers. And the entire point of the game is you go inside people's minds and, like, sift through their subconscious to, like, find bits of information and, like, live through experiences they've had, etc. And you basically discover the plot of what's going on, and it's like, whoa, what? You say like it's that it's like it's just anime Psychonauts.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. There's a lot that has went into this series, and I really love it. But yeah, so I'll continue a little bit more about that after we discuss episode 9. Let's go ahead and do that.
Episode 9. Okay.
Me. It's me. Get the fuck out of here. Go away. Get off.
It's both of us.
No, get off my shit. Shinji is getting ready for school, and the KKK needs to talk to them. Okay.
I like A2, Kaoru, and Miku in these notes, by the way.
Mini Miku.
Yes. So A2, Kaoru, and Miku, which is a character
Mini
that
Miku.
is to replace Shinji, are going into the illusion without her because she's not needed. She's like, clan member, give me a chance. And they're like, all right, this is your last chance. And then there's the anime intro. And we see Coco and Paprika back at school eating lunch of a rice ball, but it's actually a ball. It's like the size of her head. And it's an entire Salisbury steak inside a rice ball with french fries, carrots,
broccoli,
steak, broccoli, gravy, like all of it. And it actually sounds fantastic, can I just say?
Yeah.
So, and then for some reason, Coco is really upset about someone called Mimi, and then there's an entire Salisbury steak thing moment where they're like, try a bite, you like these things, and she's like, no. And then Coco goes to water some plants and doesn't want to go home with Paprika, but then they go home, and she's floating on a surfboard. Let me just change that. Surfboard, and...
Did you say skateboard? Because initially I said skateboard too.
No,
I said surgboard for typos.
Oh, okay.
And Paprika's really confused because Coco is upset, and they're like, you didn't even like the carrots, and she's like, you think I'm someone else or something, and you're self-centered, and drama, they're fighting now. So they go back into their closet and go off on an adventure, but there's a really cute moment where they're still holding hands while they go. It's really good.
Still hold hands.
Yeah. It's like when you get in a fight with your boyfriend, but you still love each other, so you hold hands. They're gay. They're really gay.
Can I just say, I actually don't like Kokono and Paprika together. I prefer Kokono and Yayaka. So,
of course.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Spooky is a piece of shit.
It's true.
Wow.
I'll explain more. But anyway.
So now we're in space, and Shinji can't find the shard or the mech, and Shinji's sus as fuck. And Paprika and Coco land in a white room and don't know where they are, but also are still fighting. And then Coco sees the shard, and Paprika runs after it, and then Coco turns into a Super Saiyan and runs after it faster, and then Paprika also swooshes into a Super Saiyan and goes after them, but then A2 stops them, and they drop their own crystal that they had, and then A2 and Mega Man all make a grab for the gym, and they get wrapped up in some pasta. And then Shinji goes to fight Paprika, and the twins and Coco are trying to get out, but nothing works. And the room can't be destroyed physically, but they can see the fight outside, but they can't hear anything. And the shards are apparently to make a wish, and the twins propose an armistice until they get out, and then Coco's like, yeah, sure, and then like, wow, I can't believe you fucking believe that. And then we learned A2 and Mega Man's names, and I just didn't give a fuck.
Toto and Yu.
I don't care. I don't care who they are.
No, we don't care about their names. I would like to note that, oh no, just keep going. I'll mention my notes when they become
okay. So they're hanging out in the pasta, and apparently Buchan has a brain inside of him.
Yeah, it's a real human brain. It's not just like a pig's brain. It's a human brain.
Yeah, and the twins are like poking at it.
There's an episode where they go into Buchan's subconscious, by the way.
Okay. Well, that's...
Well, let me guess. They see big fat anime
Nope, that's
titties.
the one with the city that I was explaining to you guys before we started recording.
Okay.
Anyway.
So... Shinji and Paprika are outside being really tired, running around and fainting, and then Shinji sits up and has food, and Paprika's like, give me that, and she's like, only for your gym, and they're like, no. So Paprika pretends to faint, and then when Shinji gets close, she takes a bite out of her snack without her... And then the twins lift up Coco's skirt for some reason and mention that A2 can read lips. And then sows even more seeds of dissent about what...
Sorry, just the way that you said that. They lift up her skirt and say that one of them can read lips. Did you mean vagina lips? What does that mean? What does that mean, dear?
Okay, they lift up her skirt, they talk about her gym for a second, then they cut to them staring out the window, trying to figure out what Paprika and Shinji are saying, and A2's like, I can read lips and know what they're saying, and basically goes, Paprika fucking hates you. Like, that's what she's saying, obviously, even though that's not what she's saying at all. So Coco gets sad, and then when Coco gets sad, the pasta reacts to it. And then Shinji is upset that Paprika loves Coco, and apparently Shinji knows Coco way before Paprika does. And then the twins learn that the pasta reacts to Coco. And then we see a flashback of Grandma dropping off Coco at the hospital. And Shinji is there, and they're both getting tests done. So then Shinji wants to run away with her, and they gay as fuck. And then
Question, real quick. Do we get any information on why the spaghetti ball...
Nope.
Response to Coco?
Nope.
It has to do with, like I said before, with, like, their hearts feeling the same thing.
Okay,
that's
so
like how they use
tune,
magic.
Dearly beloved.
Yeah, that's how they use magic.
I'm surprised you don't like this game. It's very everything you love. Anyway, the window Coco is looking into is getting darker as she remembers all these things. And the kids are running away and having fun. They're like, they'll never find us here. And then they're found. And Grandma is excited that Coco made a friend. And Paprika's excited because Coco's excited. And Paprika keeps trying to open up the pasta because she doesn't have enough determination. She doesn't deserve to be with Coco. So Shinji fucking kicks Paprika in the fucking gut. Like, just no real reason. And... they're screaming each other's names through the pasta, and then the pasta's like, oh, fuck, and is destroyed. And then they hold hands, and they're gay again, and it's great. And we find out in another flashback that actually the KKK has taken over Shinji as a baby and made her to be friends with Coco so that they can do something. And
really? I don't remember that.
Yeah, that happened.
Really?
It was
that was
kind of quick scene, but yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing that happened.
Okay.
So the twins tell Shinji to fuck up Coco, and she's like, all right, I know. And so then they go to fight, and then Coco is stuck with Shinji, and Paprika is stuck with the twins, and that's a fight. And then Coco's like, I don't want to transform and fight you. And then when they start actually fighting, there's scenes of their childhood shows up around them, but then the pictures slowly turn into Paprika and Coco. And then Coco gets her shit kicked in, and Shinji takes the gem from her. And they're like, all right, get the other one, which is up her skirt and in her vagina, I guess. And she's like, all right, done. And then, so she goes to stab the gem from her leggy, but Shinji can't do it. So then the twins come in to do it for her and drop a bomb on her, basically, and Shinji's dead. Yep. And Paprika protects them, and Shinji is dead. And then there's an end scene where Shinji is taken to a hospital, and she's Coco's friend. And then the KKK absorb another white soul into the dildo building, and then
they put another stone in the butthole.
Yes. And then Paprika wakes up and starts to scream about Mimi, and Coco's like, who the fuck is Mimi? And they're like, oh, she's my partner. End episode.
Yep. So
How did your notes go, Gam?
I mean, those are pretty much my notes. The only differences in my notes was, what have I written here? That feel when kicked by Resolve, Spaghettisode, Boo has a brain, what the fuck, nap time for lesbians, that's what I called when, Paprika and Yayaka were too tired to fight each other. I called it nap time for lesbians. And then directly below that is, and then the twins recruiting Spooky. Basically, Yayaka is Kokona's ex. Kokona boiled the pasta so badly it shattered.
Yep.
Yayaka and Kokona fight Arino for the Soul Stones for Thanos. And then, the clan got the stone.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's it.
So...
basically the same.
Yeah. So, the series prior to this episode is a lot of just like, hey, we're going to this world in pure illusion and we're doing these things. There's other stuff mixed in. The guy who wrote this series is extremely into psychology. And there are pages amongst pages amongst pages of like just the different kinds of psychology he put into the show. But
I feel
a lot of it's really like common stuff. Like, so he based a lot of it on like Freudian things. But he wanted, he wanted to show, with this that, because Freud's whole thing is just talking about like sexual awakening essentially. And he was like, but it's so much more than that. And obviously like he did a lot of like, a lot of research in like the psychology of like coming out as like queer and stuff like that.
Which Freud does not have
exactly
the best views towards.
So he basically wanted to take like what Freud did and like psychologists who worked like based off of Freudian things and show like, hey, it's not just about the sexual things though. There's a lot more that goes into it, and you can even look in. Like, the characters are based on the id, the superego, and the ego. Paprika is the id. She has, like, no sense of danger, just, like, runs in headfirst, purely instinctual. And then, Kokona is, she's the ego, right? I need to, like...
Yeah, and then... is Yayaka meant to be the super
Yes,
ego?
so Kokona's, like, way too cautious, way too worried about other people, like, what other people are going to think of her, and, like, wants to do everything by the norm, wants to fit in more than anything. And Yayaka is pulled by both things. She's pulled by the internal struggle and by, what society thinks of her. And a lot of it is Paprika getting Kokona to be more comfortable with, like, her inner thoughts and instinctual things, versus just always being, like, cautious.
Papika's arc is internal means external.
Yeah, so it's basically them growing off of each other in that regard. And Yayaka can't fucking stand it, because, I mean, obviously Yayaka's in love with Kokona. And actually, the next episode is the episode where, Yayaka's actually the one, because going back to your most prized treasure, Yayaka is the one that actually says, my most prized treasure is Kokona. It's not Papika that does it. Yeah.
Okay.
So...
Can I make a prediction for, like, the rest of the series?
Yeah.
Does Yayaka join them and take down the clan?
Yayaka does join them, but it's not to take down the clan. Yayaka joins them to take down Kokona's mom.
Oh! Okay. So...
Spoilers.
Whole new thing, yeah.
Wow, talk about fucking Freudian shit.
Yes. So...
I mean, okay, so for those who don't know, if I remember right, to boil down Freud's views on homosexuality, if I remember correctly, he essentially boiled it down to those who are homosexual have had either trauma as a child or have something going on with their parents, essentially. Yes. Or both.
Yes.
Also, Freud just loved the idea of everyone wanting to fuck their parents. He just loves the idea that everything wrong with the world can be boiled down to this person wants to fuck their mum.
Mm-hmm. So...
I think he was projecting a
yeah,
little.
I think so too.
Maybe.
So you get the backstory. Mimi is Kokona's mother. Mimi was the first person born that was able to access pure illusion. And they were trying to find a partner for her. And drumroll, her partner was Papika. Papika was...
So Papika doesn't age.
No, here's the thing. Papika was the same age she is now when she met Mimi, and grew up alongside Mimi. Also, spoilers, Salt is Kokona's dad. So whenever you were like, yeah, Salt and Pepper had a baby, and it's Paprika, I was like, you're not far off.
Is her mum's name Pepper?
No.
Spooky, we
Mimi.
need to know this. It's her
Mimi.
mum's name Pepper.
It's Mimi and Salt.
So it is Mimi.
Yeah.
Okay. Can we nickname her Pepper?
Sure.
Yes.
So anyway.
Just so whenever I think about, like, Kokona being born, I can just think of the Salt and Pepper song, Push It.
So...
I'd like to just bring up that the family members in Blue's Clues are Mr. Salt,
yes,
Mrs. Pepper, Paprika the daughter, Cinnamon the son, Ginger the newborn daughter, and twin of Sage the newborn son, and Grandmother Cayenne.
Aww.
And Grandmaster Flash.
But anyway, yeah, so it's basically revealed Mimi was the first person that could, like, access pure illusion, and she basically controls it. Mimi went through a lot of fucking shit, though, because she was just an experiment, and she was kept in a small room for her whole life, and Papika was the first partner that could be partnered with her that didn't just fucking die, because they established that that's a thing that can happen. If you partner with someone and your hearts don't fucking feel the same way, you can just fucking die.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
Yeah, so Papika and Mimi hit it off real well, and Salt, who at the time his dad's the head scientist, and he's, like, training under him. He also is, like, interested in Mimi, so they get her to, like, basically live a decent life, you know? Like, he convinces his dad to, like, let her hang out with them and, like, go outside of her fucking room and shit like that. And in turn, she takes Papika to pure illusion, and everything works out for everyone until his Salt's dad tries to also go to pure illusion and goes fucking crazy. So you find out Mimi had a fucking baby, or is pregnant, and she, like, fucking leaves. Her and Papika go away, and they end up capturing them again, and coming back. Like, they get brought back, and Salt finds out that he's a fucking dad. it's a whole big thing. They take Kokona away from Mimi, and that makes Mimi, like, fucking snap. And within, like, Pure Illusion, essentially there are two of her. Like, there's normal Mimi, but then there's also, like, a split personality just from the amount of trauma that has been caused.
So she... Okay.
Yeah. So
she basically gets DID.
Yeah. So,
well, split personality
yes.
is what it used to be called.
So, Paprika remembers Mimi because of the shards that are being brought back together, because all of the shards can open up essentially a gate to Pure Illusion. It's basically like pieces of Mimi coming back together. So that's why as more pieces get brought, Paprika remembers Mimi and starts freaking out about Mimi. But Mimi's shard ends up going to Kokona at a point, and Mimi essentially takes over Kokona's body, because Kokona's, like, pissed off. She lets, like, because she thinks at this point that Paprika doesn't, like her at all, and she finds out that her grandma was actually working with the KKK scientists to observe her, and she finds out that Yayaka initially was also, like, meant to just observe her and get information on her. So, yeah, she's really pissed because she's like, well, no one in my life actually fucking gives a shit about me, and I'm just a fucking shitty, empty person, and I hate myself. So, Mimi takes over, and it's a whole big fucking thing. And then Yayaka's like, Salt goes to Yayaka in a very emotional moment and is like, please help Kokona. And Yayaka's like, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna fucking do that. And then she goes up to Paprika, who's lost hope at this point, and she's like, hey, listen, I don't care what the fuck you're doing, but I want to save Kokona, and I want you to fucking help me. So she does. Mm-hmm. And then Yayaka gets a cool transformation. It's cool as shit. Then she has to accept the fact that the girl she loves doesn't love her back and lets her be with Paprika.
Aww.
Yeah.
Aww.
It's...
Aww.
Yeah. So
this is essentially Psychonauts meets Steven Universe.
Meets Evangelion. Meets...
He meets Evangelion.
Sailor Moon. Meets everything.
Meets Freud.
Yeah, meets Freud. Yeah, essentially the creator of the show just went, these are a bunch of things that I'm very interested in, let's just make something, and it worked.
Yep.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a good time. I should say one last thing, is it's implied that the world that they're in through the entire series, like the normal world, is actually also a part of Pure Illusion.
It's actually a Pure Illusion world?
Yeah.
Yeah. I should have said that I thought of that, like, the minute, like, we were talking about this.
Yeah.
It's all...
The route they take, though, with it's kind of cool, where it's like, to them, that's their reality, so that's what they stay. It's not like it's all been a dream, haha. It's like, no, this is our reality.
It's an actual, because of the nature of Pure Illusion, it's just a dream doesn't work, because the quote-unquote dream affects reality and is, like, a reflection of reality.
Yeah. So, it's just, like, different levels of it.
I think I would legitimately like this more and want to watch all of it if it wasn't, like, an over-the-top anime.
Yeah. I get that. I get that.
I'm not a fan of these over-the-top, fighty, pew-pew animes. Like, they look amazing, but, like, the substance that's in them, to me, just, it tastes like
Okay,
chalk.
so then real quick, Gam, how would you rate this episode then?
Okay, so
or this
I
anime,
actually
sorry.
really... Well, this anime. Well, I really like it. Well, are we doing a number?
I don't know. I thought we did last time, and it was pretty much like, you wouldn't watch it, you would watch it, but not anytime soon, and then you absolutely
that's right. We went from a negative score as well.
Yeah, because
like,
if it was so bad, it's good, yeah.
So I would probably go... I mean, okay, here's the thing. I would probably watch it again with someone who likes... Like, if Spooky was like, hey, I'm feeling shit, do you want to just, like, watch all of this anime? And be like, hell yeah, I'm down for it. So I'd probably say, like, a 6 or a 7 for me.
Okay. Let me ask you, Spooky, what do you think I'm gonna rate this?
Huh. That's a good question. So while we were watching it, I had the feeling that you liked it more than Gam. But now
that is true.
Yeah, so what did Gam say? Like a 6 or 7?
Yep.
I think you liked it more, but maybe not a lot more. Maybe like an 8.
9.
9. That's what I gave it.
Because
yeah.
I don't care about the bullshit. It's stupid. It's anime. It's plot points of anime that I'm like all about.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, Deer is able to look past that stuff. Like, Deer likes that stuff and able to look past it. Personally, I can't because it's partially I'm unable to shut my brain off with these types of things, and partially, like, my brain shuts off in the worst way with these sorts of things. Like, anytime a fight scene started in this anime, my brain went, okay, I'm not paying attention anymore.
I will say the fight scenes...
Like it was like nothing of substance, nothing of consequence is going to happen in the next 2 minutes until the end of the scene, so there's no point in paying attention.
I do think the fights have more meaning when you have more context,
they look great.
Too.
I
Whenever
feel like they
Yayaka's
look
like
great
beating...
and they have some dialogue in them, but it's like, to me, it's still, at the end of the day, it's like, it's not enough substance in there for my brain to be like, I need to be paying attention.
I think, like, certain fights have more, like, when Yayaka's beating the shit out of Paprika, it, like, has a lot more weight to it, because once you know why, like, once you realize...
Yeah.
And same goes with...
The biggest example for me is, like, have you seen Guardians of the Galaxy 2?
Yes.
This scene where, Chris Pratt's basically is distracting Ego, talking about fucking Freud, distracting Ego by fighting him. Like, that fight scene is over the top and, like, anime to a degree because they're, like, flying around and, like, hitting each other and not really hurting each other. But that scene captivates me because what's going on in the fight scene and the point of it and the emotional like fighting that is going on between the two characters is so captivating that it keeps my attention.
That makes sense.
Whereas like a Dragon Ball fight between two characters, it's like, I know these characters have history, but like every 2 minutes they're fighting like this. It's just not interesting.
No, that makes sense.
To me.
That makes sense. Definitely like the episode 3 fight is just like, here's a cool fight. There's no weight behind that at all. It's just let's show off some animation. You know what I mean? Like
the thing to me is like One Punch Man. I can't stand One Punch Man.
I love One Punch Man.
I love it too. But...
I think it looks beautiful. I think the fights are amazing, but like that show is like, I know the point of that show, and I would love that show if the fights weren't in it. Because like I watch these fights, it's like what's the point? Like I know what's gonna happen in this fight. I don't really have that connection to keep me interested. Like I know they're not gonna beat this character.
See, I towards the end on those last 2 fights, you're not supposed to actually know. So I don't know.
Yeah, but the point is, like, there's so many, like, with so many fights going on in the show that it's like, if you're like, oh, but the last 2 fights you're really interested in, you don't really know. It's like, yeah, but there's like 20 or 50 other fights like it. It's like, I understand, but it's just a personal thing.
No, I definitely get that.
Like, that's why I don't say, like, One Punch Man is terrible. Like, no, it is an amazing, amazing series. Just personally, I can't watch it.
Yeah. Whereas I love to just be like, yeah, fuck it, let's get fucking stupid. If I know I'm getting into something that has fucking stupid shit that I'm not gonna understand, I'm all for it.
I'm the same way to a degree. I like fights though for the build up. Like I know that you said Gam the last like you're like, oh, nothing is gonna happen until like the end of this, but I like the build up of the fights a lot.
The only one that kind of captivated me or like kept my attention a little bit was that one in the final episode. The one where they're like
with Kokona and Yayaka or with Paprika and Yayaka?
With Kokona and
that's
Yayaka.
That's
like,
one of
there
my
was
favorite
a little
scenes.
bit there that like kept my attention for a bit because it's like there is something going on between these characters and it's like they're not on the same level and it's like it's interesting like through the fighting it's more is revealed about the characters but it's like there's like constant cutting back and forth.
You also did mention that you were upset that like Yayaka got her ass kicked from a bomb rocket whatever and let me finish. And me and Spooky both went, there was never a moment in the series where Yayaka got into a fight she lost. There was never a moment where there was a bomb thrown at her or she was shot, anything. So you don't know what she can take.
What I meant by that was, though, like, when that happened, like, I knew that it hadn't happened with Yayaka, so we hadn't understood it. But when that happened, it instantly reminded me of that, like, sort of through line with anime. And it's like, I'm not blaming the show being like, the minute that happened, it took me out, because it didn't. But because I was like, okay, we actually don't know what this character can take. But the minute she took the missile, I was like, if this was any substandard anime, or, like, a just normal anime, like, it would immediately, like, it highlights the instant issue that I have with anime fights, in that stakes are never clear, and it's like, if they're anime stakes, I'm completely fine with that. If they're realistic stakes, I'm completely fine with that. But when they muddle the two, it's when it frustrates me. It's like the equivalent of, like, I brought it up in the commentary, it's like, the equivalent of a video game where, like, Call of Duty, you can get shot 1,000,000 times and you'll be fine, but then a cutscene comes along and you get shot by a character in a cutscene and you're dead immediately. Like, it's that kind of thing where it's like, what is, like, does a bullet kill me or not? Like, you can't magically decide that 1 minute it does, and that's meant to give me, like, magical, like, I'm meant to be involved now, whereas, like, but 5 minutes ago I got hit with 50 bullets and I was fine.
I get that.
But, like, this scene, I didn't get that, because you're right, we hadn't seen Yayaka get hit by anything. We've only seen Yayaka get, like, hit and kicked and everything, which, if they were going for realistic, that would have annoyed me, but they weren't. They went for the anime realism of kicking and punching and everything, like, can wound a character, but it won't wound them enough where they're, like, on the ground, passed out or anything, or they're dead. Unless it's like an over-the-top punching sort of thing.
I guess for me, in that case, like, the stakes were absolutely clear when that happened. Because for me, the fact that A2 did it to her is what, like, makes it clear to me.
Yeah.
Like, it makes it...
Well, that's...
It makes it seem like, okay, A2 and them are on a higher level than the others, because there were multiple times that, like, they got their shit kicked in back and forth, like, quite a lot.
Yeah.
But, like, they didn't die from it. But then as soon as, like, a rocket hits them, when their guard is basically down and they're trying to protect someone, like, you're not taking the momentum to, like, actually dodge or, like, counter or, like, anything like that. It's like, yeah, you're gonna get your shit blown up.
I should also say something I forgot to mention that's kind of important. The twins aren't actual people. They're artificial. They were made.
Of course they are. It really is A2. Got it.
Which is something I need to bring up. Because the only natural human in that grouping.
Yeah. So my thing with that, dear, is, like, I understand that, and that's what I'm saying, like, that's fine. Like, that I completely understand. What I meant is, like, that reminds me of, like, what you're saying is, like, it was the fact that it was the twins that did it, and, like, it got them. It's like, again, that's the equivalent of, like, in a cutscene, someone who's with me shoots me in the head and kills me dead. It's like, okay, I know the stakes, but it's like, again, I had just been hit, like, 20 minutes ago by, like, 100 bullets, like, but this one bullet is what killed me. It's, to me, it's not enough to go, it matters who shoots the missile. It has to matter about sort of what's going on in it, and, like, just saying, but her defenses were down. It's like, yeah, but, like, if her defenses is up, there's not much you can do against a missile.
Right.
Yeah, no, so at this point, I'm realizing...
Unless you're continuing with anime realism, where it's like, she could shoot out a shuriken or something, and that'll blow up the missiles before it hits her, where it's like, okay, but then we're still in magical anime realism, we're not muddying it with realistic realism.
Yeah.
I guess this is one of those things where, like, I just don't care.
Yeah. I mean, and...
that's why I'm saying
it really
it's a
doesn't matter.
to me.
But, and I mean, Gams also said with this that that's not the case with this. I would agree, like, if it was, like, Papika or something that happened to, it'd be a little bit like, okay, but because it's Yayaka...
If it was, like, Papika had come up behind Yayaka and, like, twisted her neck or something, that would have taken me out of it. Because it's like, Papika and Yayaka have just had, like, a 2-minute long fight scene where they've been punching and kicking each other, but suddenly now Paprika's able to kill Yayaka instantly. Like, that would have taken me out of it.
Yeah, but even...
because it's, like, a teammate, and it's a completely different weapon, and it's, like, Yayaka isn't this magical girl. It's like, that's completely fine to me.
Yeah, exactly, because Yayaka didn't have the magic, and we've never seen her interact with that, so it makes sense.
She never had the heart of the cards.
Yeah, she never... Well, she ends up getting the heart of the cards whenever she finally admits that she loves Kokona more than anything, but we won't get into that.
She gets her own Lebsian transformation scene.
And it's precious. The whole reason that they're like, oh, hey, you're useless, you stupid bitch, is because she's protected Kokona because she can't bring herself to hurt her, put her in danger.
So, I guess the question we have to ask Spooky, do you have any statues from characters of this anime?
They don't make them, or I would. This show actually didn't do super well in sales, sadly. Yeah, really? I wanted it to. I really wanted merch. I bought the deluxe box set, but that's like the only thing they've really brought out. So.
Okay, real supplementary question. Does the deluxe box set have some type of, like, holographic thing on it? Like, what, you know what I mean by holographic? Like, with the shiny sort of texture on it. Does it have that anywhere? Yeah. Of course.
I'll like take pictures after this and send it. It's exactly what you're imagining it, though. It's 100% exactly it.
All I'm gonna say is that, Spooky, if you found someone to 3D model something, I could, in theory, 3D print it.
Ooh. I'll have to keep that in mind.
So basically what we're saying is get your pre-orders in now for the Boo-chan figurine coming 2022.
For the Shinji figurine.
with removable brain lid.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, fuck. I love Boo-chan's fucking human brain.
It's so weird. Like, the thing that gets me about it is that, like, in every episode, and Spooky pointed this out, and after Spooky pointed it out, I was like, oh, okay, that's a bit weird, but, like, it's an anime, it makes sense. But then we see the brain. Boo-chan dies in, like, every episode as, like, a joke, and it's, like, an anime death, so it's not, like, a real death of, like, meaningful. It's, like, Boo-chan gets stomped on and, like, liquid spurts out. It's like, okay, haha, whatever. We're not focused on it, so Boo-chan comes back. But then it's, like, revealed that Boo-chan has this brain, and it's like, there's, like, the liquid that comes out is, like, brain juice. I thought it was, like, coolant or something. That's, like, ew.
Can I mention that you can buy all of Flip Flappers on Steam?
Yes, you can.
It's on Steam?
It's on Steam?
Yeah, I saw that.
Does that mean it's a category on Twitch?
I saw that.
You can literally just buy it on Steam.
I saw that one time, just like scrolling through the internet, and I thought that like maybe in Japan they released a Flip Flappers game, and I got really excited, and then I clicked it, and it was like, oh wait, it's just the series.
It has recommended specifications.
It does.
Oh, okay, anyway, this is a good one. I like the Lebsians. I don't like the pink-haired weird dude.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
I want to actually watch this.
Well,
I think I would watch it if, like, I was in a better situation in my life and was able to just be like, you know what, I'll be able to throw away, like, an entire day watching the rest of this anime that I don't know if I really want to spend time on or not.
Yeah, Scaredy and I have been talking about watching this sometimes, so either of you are welcome to jump on for that ride.
Let me know.
Yeah, we'll do. I really enjoyed this show a lot. I'm glad that you guys did too. I'm really glad. I was nervous.
Gam, do you want some sweet potato that was totally made for me and it's nice and sweet and turns me Super Saiyan?
Hand me some sweet potato.
Here you go.
Well, that was actually great because the first scene where we get an is like Paprika does like have the sweet potato. She's like, open up, and then Kokona goes and then Paprika just shoves it in her, so it's like It was unintentionally hilarious because every time we keep making these fucking jokes.
Yeah. The first piece of merch we ever make for Spooky's fucking podcast is just gonna be how.
Oh, shit.
Oh, open up wide and how?
That's like the minute I step off an airplane at Ohio Airport and I see Spooky better have like some sweet potato in her hand, and I'll just like lean forward and go, "Ow."
Yeah, I'm just walking through the airport holding hot sweet potato in my hand, like ready to go.
Spooky,
And it has to be a purple sweet potato.
Okay, if he gets a sweet potato, can I just have a burger?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
I have this like steaming sweet potato in my hand, and Gam like contacts me to let me know that his flight got delayed, and I'm just like, fuck.
And you're just like, I don't know what to fucking do now. So you just stand there for the next 3 hours.
Oh my god, I wish you could meet people at gates still.
Yeah.
Wait, you can't do that?
No.
Oh.
Do we want to get into a conversation about post 9/11? Because we can.
I mean, no, I understand why. I just forget sometimes that American
Yeah.
airports are like a lot stricter
Yeah.
than other countries.
we used to be able to, but then
But then what? What happened, dear? What would happen that changed everything? Are you
Well,
saying something happened, perhaps?
Yes.
On a
So,
certain day.
Coconut. Fucking.
So basically, what you're saying is A2 and the guy from Evangelion
Cause 9/11. Yes.
caused 9/11.
Yep, there we go.
So, that's the end of the podcast.
That's the
Forever.
podcast, everybody.
That's it. We're never coming back.
Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.